Hey everyone, I want to talk to you today about cash flow or appreciation. So, cash flow is a type of investment that will pay you money every week or month or quarter or year. There is a payout that comes from this cash that you can tangibly take out and put in your bank or put it in your wallet or spend it on stuff. The other common type of investment is appreciation. Now, appreciation are things that you buy low and then they continue to grow in value. So, a lot of times, land is something that people will buy for appreciation. They'll buy a lot of land, and then a year, 3 years, 5 years later, they sell it to some developer and they make more money. But the whole time that they had that land, it wasn't paying them anything because land by itself, if there's nothing on it, doesn't cash flow. So, let's take a look at how some of these work. Let's imagine you've got some really expensive baseball cards, or basketball, any sort of sports cards. All right, so here's a guy, and here's a person, and here's something cool. Now you bought this pack of them for $5, but then this guy sets a record, and this guy does something really great, and this guy's in the news a ton, so that's awesome. So now that set of baseball cards is now no longer worth $5. It's worth $10. You doubled your money. That's awesome. But you only get this money if you sell these things. If you're willing to part with them, and then once you part with them, you don't receive any of the growth from there on out because you sold those. That's appreciation. While you held these baseball cards, you weren't getting paid monthly or weekly or quarterly. Instead, your money was just sitting and in terms of value inside of those cards until you chose to sell them. Now, a different example would be if you bought a house and you had someone rent it. Let's say you put $150,000 into this house. You bought a house for $150,000. You own it outright. You don't have a mortgage. It's your house. You turn around and you rent it out for maybe $1,200 a month. So every month, this house and the tenant inside of it pays you $1,200. 1.2K. That's how we're going to write that. Yeah, there we go. Every month they pay you that. That's a cash flowing asset. It's flowing money into your bank or your wallet every month that this tenant pays. Or let's say you listed it on Airbnb and you got someone staying in there that pays you every week, and they pay you maybe $400 a week for it or something. That's cool. That's a cash flowing asset. But what's also neat about it is most of the time, because of either the land underneath them or the improvements made on the house, an asset like real estate will appreciate. So even though you bought it for $150,000 today, in 5 years it's no longer worth $150,000 and it's worth $165,000. So now, in addition to the $1,200 a month that your renter has been paying you, you also have gained $15,000 in value that if you sold it, you could realize, or you could actually tangibly take hold of that $15,000 gain, going from 150 to 165. So that's cool. So sometimes you can do cash flow, sometimes you can do appreciation, sometimes you can do both. Now, when you're starting off early in life, let's say you're young here, most of the time you want appreciation because you want something that's going to grow so that when you're older and you're ready to retire, this is you now, but with a beard because you're old and gray hair. When you want to retire, you want to be able to take this and sell it off so that you can earn the value. So let's say you bought it at 100 and you sold it at 1,000. Great, 10 times your money. That's awesome. Now take that money and you want to put it into this thing over here that's going to cash flow. You're not going to take it out as cash. You're going to put it into another asset that's cash flows. So now in your golden years, it's going to send you a check every month, and every month, and every month. And you get to keep this asset because it's sending you money. You don't have to sell it to get the money. Whereas down here, with appreciation, as it goes up, and sometimes pulls back and goes up and pulls back and goes back, you don't get this 1,000 until you sell it. And then once you sell it, you don't get any more money out of that. There's an old story about a goat. Oh gosh, I hope I can draw a goat. This is a goat, about a goat, and its milk. So you can milk a goat. I don't know if you guys know that. The goat is worth, I don't know, let's call it $100, and the milk is worth $2. And so as long as you own the goat, you get $2 for the milk. There's a glass of milk. You get $2 for the glass of milk. When you sell the goat, you no longer get the $2. But when you sell the goat, because you bought it for $100 when it was a little, they actually call baby goats kids, because you bought it when it was a kid, it wasn't worth as much. But now that it's a full-grown goat, you actually sold it for $200. But you don't get any more milk after that. That was appreciation versus cash flow. So anyway you think about it, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can prioritize for cash flow. You can prioritize for appreciation. You can try and split the difference and get a little bit of both. It's really whatever's up to you. People ask me all the time, like, what's the best investment? They want the best. But what they don't realize is the best is different for everyone, because it's like, what is your goal? So if your goal is to have something that grows in value, then look for something that appreciates. If your goal is to have money every month that you don't have to like work for anymore, find something that cash flows. So that's cash flow and appreciation. Let me know if you've got any questions.